Brazil. When you think of Brazil, what comes to mind? A passion for football, the Rio Carnival, stunning beaches, or dangerous favelas? In this video, you will learn much more about Brazil, from its history to its food culture, from its problems to its natural wonders. If you're ready, let's get started. With a population of around 215 million, Brazil is the sixth most populous country in the world and the largest country in South America in both area and population. Its roughly 7,500-kilometer coastline along the Atlantic Ocean, massive rainforests, great rivers, and cultural diversity contain many different worlds within a single country. While it rains constantly in the Amazon rainforest, another part of the country experiences a desert climate, one of the best examples of Brazil's geographic diversity. Looking at Brazil's history, hundreds of different indigenous communities lived on this land long before the Portuguese arrived. In 1500, diseases brought by Portuguese explorers wiped out almost the entire indigenous population. Today, about 80 indigenous tribes are known to live in isolation from the modern world in the Amazon rainforest, and it is believed that many more may still exist. During the 322-year colonial period, sugarcane and coffee production increased, and the number of enslaved Africans brought to the country rose just as sharply. According to some researchers, the number of enslaved people brought to Brazil was 11 times higher than those brought to the United States. Although Brazil declared independence in 1822, it abolished slavery only in 1888, becoming the last country in the Americas to do so. 1 year later, the monarchy ended and Brazil became a republic. Today, the people who make up Brazil are descendants of Europeans, Africans, and Native Americans. Before getting to know Brazilian society more closely, let's take a look at some of the country's most important cities. When people think of Brazil, the first city that usually comes to mind is Rio de Janeiro. With its bays surrounded by mountains, famous beaches, and energetic atmosphere, Rio is one of the most recognizable cities in the world. So much so that many people mistakenly believe Rio is the capital of Brazil. However, it has not been the capital since 1960. I won't tell you the name of the capital just yet, because I need to keep you watching a little longer. But I think you'll be surprised when you find out. Anyway, the 38-meter-tall Christ the Redeemer statue rising above Rio de Janeiro is one of Brazil's most iconic symbols and is considered one of the new 7 wonders of the world. Rio is also home to world-famous beaches such as Copacabana and Ipanema. Most of the beach photos you've seen from Brazil were probably taken here. Rio's most famous event, without a doubt, is the Rio Carnival. Held every year in February or March, this massive festival is considered the largest carnival in the world. The spectacular parades prepared by Samba schools, colorful costumes, and thousands of dancers turn this event into a truly unique experience. The colorful stairs known as Escadaria Celeron are also one of the most striking spots in the Santa Teresa neighborhood. For football enthusiasts, the Maracanã Stadium is an unmissable landmark. Also worth seeing is Praia do Cassino in the state of Rio Grande do Sul, which holds the Guinness World Record as the world's longest beach at 254 kilometers. Brazil's largest city, however, is São Paulo. And no, it is not the capital either. With a population of around 22 million, this massive metropolis is one of the largest cities in South America. São Paulo is sometimes called the New York of South America. The city alone accounts for more than 30% of Brazil's economy. In a city of 22 million people, there are about 8 million vehicles. And in 2013, a traffic jam stretching 309 kilometers set a world record. An unusual solution was developed for this traffic problem: helicopters. Today, São Paulo has the world's busiest helicopter traffic, with over 500 helicopters and more than 700 flights per day. São Paulo is also home to the largest Japanese population outside Japan. Since the migration wave that began in 1908, about 1.5 million people of Japanese descent now live in Brazil, with roughly 70% in São Paulo. Avenida Paulista, the city's always busy avenue, is a place where you can visit modern art galleries and enjoy a coffee. If skyscrapers feel overwhelming, you can walk by the ponds in Ibirapuera Park for some peace. And if you want to explore São Paulo's local flavors, the Mercado Municipal is one of the best places to do so. Here, you can try the famous mortadella sandwich. Since we're talking about food, let's take a quick look at Brazilian cuisine. Different regions of the country offer different flavors. For example, in Rio and São Paulo, don't miss trying the traditional dish Feijoada, made with black beans and meat. On the streets, you'll always find pão de queijo, small cheese bread balls, perfect for enjoying with coffee at any time of the day. If you visit the Northeast region, try the spicy seafood dishes. Bahia's cuisine is full of African-influenced flavors. Fish stew called moqueca and fried acarajé are must-tries. When it comes to sweets, you can't skip brigadeiro, small chocolate balls that are a staple at celebrations. There's also quindim, a shiny sweet mini cake made with coconut and egg yolk. And for drinks, the famous Caipirinha comes to mind, refreshing cocktail made with lime, sugar, and cachaça. A common misconception about Brazil is the language. Many people think Brazilians speak Spanish like other South American countries. However, Brazil's official language is Portuguese, making it the country with the largest Portuguese-speaking population in the world. The capital of Brazil, which has the largest Catholic population globally, is Brasília. Built as a planned city in 1960, Brasília stands out with its modern architecture. The city was designed in the shape of an airplane and shaped by the extraordinary works of architect Oscar Niemeyer. I don't know if you were surprised that Brasília is the capital, but I was very surprised when I first learned this. It's definitely the kind of fact you can show off to your friends. Brazil's real power, however, lies in its nature. About 60% of the Amazon rainforest, the largest rainforest in the world, is within Brazil's borders, and this massive ecosystem contains millions of plant and animal species. It is also said to produce 1/3 of the world's oxygen on its own. Brazil also contains a large part of the Pantanal, one of the largest wetlands in the world. Considered the largest swamp ecosystem on Earth, it hosts many rare animal species. As viewers of our previous Argentina video will know, the Iguazu Falls on the Brazil-Argentina border are among the largest and most impressive waterfalls in the world. Formed by hundreds of individual waterfalls, this natural wonder is one of the most remarkable natural borders on the planet. Another interesting place is Snake Island. Completely filled with snakes, this island is never open to regular visitors. Said to have 1 snake per square meter, it can only be visited by scientists for research purposes in a very limited way. In northeastern Brazil, the Lençóis Maranhenses region resembles a desert with its white sand dunes and turquoise lagoons that form during the rainy season. Life in Brazil, where music genres like samba and bossa nova were born, is extremely lively. Brazil has produced countless football legends, including Pelé, Ronaldo Nazario, Roberto Carlos, Neymar, and my personal favorite Ronaldinho. And football is almost a religion here. You can see people of all ages playing football on beaches, streets, and in parks. Even women show great interest in the sport. Considering all this, it's no coincidence that Brazil is the only country to have won 5 World Cups. The country also has a very unique stadium, the Zero Stadium in the state of Amapá, built exactly on the equator, with the midfield line representing the equator itself. Technically, one team plays in the northern hemisphere and the other in the southern hemisphere. I think we can say Brazilians are warm, social, and hospitable with strong family ties. However, punctuality is not their strongest suit. If you arrange to meet a Brazilian for coffee, they will probably be late. Speaking of coffee, Brazil produces about 40% of the world's coffee, so there's a good chance that the coffee you're drinking while watching this video comes from Brazil. Now let's touch on some less pleasant topics. The country has massive social inequality. The gap in wealth is so wide that, according to some studies, the combined wealth of Brazil's 6 richest people equals that of about 100 million people. That's half the country. Alongside the growing problem of homelessness, the crime rate is high. Brazil is among the 10 countries with the highest crime rates in the world. There's also a strange law. If someone attacks you and you injure the attacker in self-defense, you can be considered guilty. I'd really like to hear your thoughts on this. In prison, however, there's a more positive system. If an inmate reads a book and writes a summary, 4 days are reduced from their sentence, up to a maximum of 48 days. Another way to reduce the sentence is by pedaling bicycles that generate electricity for the city. Now let's move to one of the most talked about topics, favelas. Many large Brazilian cities have densely populated areas known as favelas. Favelas were first established in the late 19th century by soldiers who had nowhere to live. Later, freed slaves settled there, expanding the neighborhoods. In the 1990s, South American drug cartels noticed the lack of law enforcement and turned some areas into dangerous places through gang activity. Today, about 15 million people, roughly 6% of the population, live in favelas. Most houses have no official property title, and rents are very low. For example, while a city apartment may rent for $600, a 3-room house in a favela may cost only $100. Because connections are often illegal, residents do not pay for electricity, water, or gas. Streets are narrow and complex, partly to provide escape routes in case of police raids. Favelas are often built on hills, so residents can see who is coming from below during a raid. In recent years, guided favela tours have become available, with around 40,000 tourists visiting each year. Some favelas have no connection to gangs and are quite safe for residents. Finally, before leaving you with images from Brazil, a small reminder. Just like you, we are passionate travelers, and with your likes and comments, we take one step closer to realizing our dreams. We'd also love to know which country you'd like to see in the next video. Look and book, discover the world.